Welcome back. We are back in the archives today, blowing the dust off a book that was published all the way back in 1925.
Yeah, but it feels like it was written this morning, doesn't it?
It really does. We are continuing our series on Florence Scovel Shinn's classic, The Game of Life and How to Play It.
It is a classic for a reason. And honestly, looking at the stack of research and notes we have for today, this might be the most challenging one we've done yet.
I have to agree with you. Today we are tackling episode 6 of her work, The Law of Forgiveness. And I have to be honest, when I first saw that on the outline, my immediate reaction was a little bit of resistance.
Resistance? How so?
Yeah, a little bit of an eye roll. I think for a lot of us, the word forgiveness feels, well, it feels soft. It feels like Sunday school. It feels like that thing you're supposed to do because you're a nice person. But deep down, it feels like you're just letting people off the hook.
That it's weak.
Exactly. It feels weak.
That is the most common reaction, I think. We tend to view forgiveness as a moral concession. We think it's something we do for the other person.
Right, at our own expense.
Often at our own expense. But what blew my mind, going through Shinn's work and, cross-referencing it with the modern psychology we have in our notes, is that Shinn doesn't frame it that way at all.
No, she doesn't. She frames it as mechanics.
Exactly. It is not about being a saint. It's about physics. It is a strategic tool for, frankly, survival and sanity.
Right.
She argues that unforgiveness is actually a structural problem in your life that blocks everything else from working.
And that's the hook for me. That's what we're going to look at today. Not as a moral lecture, but as a mechanical breakdown of how to get unstuck.
A very practical tool.
If this episode helps you, please like and subscribe for the next one.
It really helps us keep these conversations going.
So to understand the law of forgiveness, we first have to understand the problem it solves. Shinn talks about the law of karma. Now, in pop culture, we usually think of karma as, what goes around comes around. But how does Shinn define it specifically?
She uses a very specific metaphor, which I think is just brilliant. The boomerang.
The boomerang.
She says, the game of life is a game of boomerangs.
I love that image. It implies speed, and it implies that you better pay attention to what you're throwing.
Right. Her foundational idea is that every thought, every word, every single deed, it's a seed.
Yeah.
Or, in this metaphor, a boomerang you're throwing out into the world.
Okay.
If you throw out hatred, it doesn't just disappear into the void. It arcs through the universe, and it comes back to hit you with the exact same force.
So if you throw out criticism,
you'll be criticized. If you lie, you will be lied to. It's a perfect feedback loop.
it's a mirror universe.
It is a mirror universe, and she tells the story in the book. It's a bit of a harsh story, actually, but it illustrates the point perfectly.
The one about the woman and her aunt.
That's the one. It's so specific.
It is.
So there's a woman who is living with her aunt, and the aunt is a talker. Just, constant chatter, asking questions, making noise while they're trying to eat. We all know someone like that. We do. And the niece is getting more and more irritated. You can just feel the resentment building up inside her. Yeah. Finally, one night at dinner, the pressure valve just blows. The niece snaps and says, "No more talk. I wish to eat in peace."
Which, let's be honest, we have all wanted to say to someone at some point in our lives.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very relatable moment. But here's where the mechanism kicks in. Shinn says because this woman had a lot of power, which we can interpret as, focused emotional energy, the return was instant.
Right.
The very next day, this niece is having lunch with a friend. This is someone she respects, someone she wants to impress. She's probably being charming, engaged, doing her best. And out of nowhere, the friend puts her hand up and says to the niece,
Let me guess. No more talk. I wish to eat in peace.
verbatim, the exact same sentence, word for word.
That is spooky.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's spooky. But Shinn says this isn't magic. This is just the machinery working. The universe heard the command, the boomerang completed its arc, and it came back.
So if we look at this through a modern lens, is this just magical thinking, or is there something psychological happening here? Because it sounds a bit like the universe is punishing you.
I don't think it's punishment. I really don't. I think it's something like the reticular activating system, or the RAS in the brain.
We've talked about that before.
We have. Your brain is essentially a filtering machine. It can't pay attention to everything, so it pays attention to what you tell it is important.
Right.
If you are obsessed with how annoying your aunt is, you are priming your brain to tune into annoyance. You are vibrating at the frequency of irritation.
So you're basically training your brain to find conflict. You're looking for it.
Exactly. You are teaching your brain that rude interruptions are a significant data point, so you might subconsciously provoke them in others, or you might just notice them more when they happen. But in Shinn's metaphysics, it's even more literal. She believes you are magnetically attracting that same energy back to you.
Okay, so this creates a huge problem. Because if I get annoyed, and then the world annoys me back, which makes me more annoyed, I'm stuck.
You're stuck in a karmic loop, a feedback loop of your own creation.
And this is where most people live, right?
And I think so. We feel like victims. We think, why does this keep happening to me? We are waiting for the other person to change or to apologize or to stop throwing boomerangs at us.
But Shinn says you can't control their boomerangs.
You can only control your own.
And this is where the law of forgiveness comes in. She calls it a higher law.
Yes. She contrasts the law of karma, which is simple cause and effect, with the law of grace or forgiveness.
Okay, let's unpack that, because grace is a theological term. It can be a little loaded for some people. What does she mean by it in this context?
In this context, she describes it as a way to transcend the law of cause and effect. Think of it like a cheat code in a video game.
A cheat code, I like that.
Or, to use her terminology, a spiritual eraser.
A spiritual eraser.
She argues that you don't have to just sit there and take the hit from the boomerang you threw yesterday. If you can invoke the law of forgiveness, you can actually neutralize the negative energy before it gets back to you.
You can catch the boomerang and dissolve it.
You can dissolve it. You can wipe the slate clean.
So instead of an eye for an eye, which is karma...
It's, I release the debt, which is grace.
Okay.
And she makes a very bold claim here. She says, Christianity is founded upon the law of forgiveness. Now, regardless of your religious background or lack thereof, the structural idea here is profound.
It is.
It suggests that there is a mechanism built into the system to stop the cycle of pain. You don't have to keep suffering just because you made a mistake in the past.
But this is where the friction comes in for me, and I think for a lot of our listeners. It sounds great on paper. Just use the eraser. But when you're actually hurt, when someone has betrayed you or stolen from you or humiliated you, that eraser feels incredibly heavy. It feels like you're asking us to deny reality.
That is the crucial misunderstanding, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because we need to define very, very clearly what forgiveness is and what it is not.
Because the resistance comes from a bad definition.
I think 90% of the resistance to forgiveness comes from a bad definition. We're rejecting a concept that isn't even what we're talking about here.
Okay, so let's build a better definition. Based on Shinn and the psychological sources we have, what is forgiveness in plain English?
In plain English, forgiveness is the release of the inner courtroom.
The inner courtroom. I like that. Explain that.
We all have one. Think about a grievance you're holding right now. Maybe it's against a boss, an ex, a parent. What do you do in your head?
You replay the tape?
You put them on the stand, you present the evidence. Look at that email they sent. Look at how they ignored me. You act as the prosecutor, the judge, and the jury, and you convict them over and over and over again.
And the sentence is usually, they are guilty and they owe me.
Exactly. They owe me an apology. They owe me my time back. They owe me suffering. Forgiveness is simply the decision to dissolve that courtroom. It's banging the gavel and saying, case dismissed.
Not because they're innocent.
No. This is critical. And this is where everyone gets tripped up. You dismiss the case not because they're innocent, but because you are tired of being the judge.
Oh.
The trial is exhausting you, not them. They aren't even there.
That resonates. It's a selfish act in the best possible way. It's about my fatigue, not their virtue.
100%. The definition we found in the psychology literature is perfect. It's a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance, regardless of whether they actually deserve your forgiveness.
Regardless of whether they deserve it. That's the part that sticks in your throat, but it's the most important part.
It's everything.
Okay, so let's get even more specific and look at what forgiveness is not. Because we have 4 big misconceptions here that we absolutely need to shatter.
Let's go through them. The first one is huge. Forgiveness is not approval.
This is the big one.
Yeah.
People think if I forgive you for stealing my car, I'm saying it was okay that you stole my car.
No, not at all. Shinn is very clear that truth is truth. You are not saying the behavior was acceptable. You are not condoning abuse. You're not saying, oh, it doesn't matter. It absolutely does matter.
So what are you saying?
You are simply saying, I am no longer going to let this event from the past poison my future. You can condemn the action while forgiving the person who did it.
So you validate the reality. You don't gaslight yourself into thinking it wasn't a big deal.
Never gaslight yourself. That leads directly to the second point. Forgiveness is not pretending.
Spiritual bypassing.
Yes, the love and light brigade. There's a tendency in self-help circles to jump straight to positivity. You get fired, and 5 minutes later, you're trying to force yourself to say, it's all for the best, I send my boss love and light.
While inside, you're just screaming with rage.
While inside, you're screaming. Shinn and modern psychologists agree, you cannot heal what you do not feel.
Say that again.
You cannot heal what you do not feel. You have to acknowledge the anger. You have to admit you are hurt. The eraser only works if you look at the writing on the board first. If you pretend the board is empty, you're just suppressing the emotion, and it will come out sideways later.
So step one is always admitting, I am furious about this, or
Yes.
I am deeply hurt.
Step one is truth, unvarnished truth.
Okay, let's go to the third one. And I think this is the most important distinction in this entire conversation. Forgiveness is not forced reconciliation.
This is where people get stuck. This is the logjam. They think, if I forgive my toxic mother, I have to let her back into my life. I have to answer her calls. I have to endure the abuse all over again.
And the answer is?
No, absolutely not.
Say that again for the people in the back.
Forgiveness and reconciliation are two completely different processes. Forgiveness is a one-way street. It is internal. It is a solo act. It involves only you. You can forgive someone who is dead. You can forgive someone who is in prison. You can forgive someone who is not sorry and never will be. It requires nothing from them.
About reconciliation.
Reconciliation is a two-way street. It requires the other person. It requires them to be sorry. It requires them to change their behavior. It requires them to reestablish trust, which is earned, not given.
Wow.
If they haven't done that, you can forgive them, meaning you release the bitterness from your own heart, but you do not reconcile with them. You don't let them back in.
That is so freeing. You can forgive and still have the locks changed.
You can forgive and still file the lawsuit. You can forgive and still block their number. Which brings us to the fourth and final point. Forgiveness is not dropping boundaries.
Right. It doesn't mean you become a doormat.
If anything, true forgiveness requires better boundaries. Because once you stop using your anger to protect yourself, and anger is a very inefficient fuel for protection, you need something else to keep you safe.
So you're swapping one for the other.
You replace the wall of fire, which burns you, by the way, just as much as it keeps them out, with a clean, locked gate. You are calm, but the gate is locked.
I love that image. Replacing a wall of fire with a locked gate. One hurts you, the other just keeps them out.
Exactly.
So we know what it is and what it isn't. But why do we hold on so tightly? If forgiveness is this eraser that sets us free, why is resentment so sticky? Why do we secretly love that inner courtroom?
Because it feels like power, doesn't it? When we're the victim, we feel morally superior. We feel right. And there's a little dopamine hit in being right.
There is.
But we have to look at the cost. And Shinn is very pragmatic about this. She says resentment is expensive.
Expensive how?
Biologically expensive. There's that famous quote, usually attributed to Nelson Mandela, that resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
It's a cliche because it's so true.
But let's look at the physiology of it. It's not just a metaphor. When you are resentful, you are engaging in what psychologists call rumination.
Rumination.
You are mentally rehearsing the trauma.
The shower argument.
The shower argument. You're driving your car, you're trying to fall asleep,
Yeah.
and you are winning the argument in your head. You're saying all the clever things you wish you'd said.
Yep.
But your body does not know you are in the shower. Your amygdala, the threat detection part of your brain, perceives a real and present danger.
It thinks the fight is happening right now.
Right now. So it pumps out cortisol, it spikes your blood pressure, it diverts resources from your immune system and your digestive system to your muscles for a fight that isn't happening.
You are literally tearing down your own cells to fight a battle that happened 3 years ago.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the person you're mad at,
They're probably sleeping just fine. They might not even remember the conversation.
they're probably watching a movie or having a nice dinner. They have no idea.
That is the worst part. They're outliving their life, and I'm here in my kitchen drinking poison and paying for it with my health.
Shinn says, resentment tears down the cells of the body, and she wrote that in 1925, long before we had fMRIs to map the stress response. She saw it. She saw that people who held grudges got sick, they aged faster, their lives just didn't work.
It also locks you in the past. It becomes an identity.
It does. That's a huge point. If your identity is the person who was cheated on, or the person who was fired unfairly, you cannot move forward. You are anchored to that event.
You're dragging a corpse around with you everywhere you go.
And you tell the story over and over, reinforcing the identity, deepening the groove in your brain. Forgiveness is cutting the rope to that corpse.
Okay, I'm sold on the why. I don't want to drink the poison anymore. I want to cut the rope. But how? This is what people need. Practical tools. You synthesized a framework from our sources called the clean model.
The clean model. Because emotions are messy, we need a clean structure to process them. This model has 4 steps: truth, release, boundary, and forward motion.
Okay, let's walk through this slowly so everyone can really get it. Step 1, truth.
This is the anti-bypass step. This is where you get brutally honest with yourself. You have to admit the injury. You state the facts without drama, but without minimizing them. I am angry because he lied to me. I am hurt because she forgot my birthday again.
You validate your own experience. You don't sugarcoat it.
No, you face it. You honor your own pain by acknowledging it.
Okay. Step 2, release.
This is the core decision. This is the moment you fire the judge in your inner courtroom. You say, either to yourself or out loud, I release the demand for this to be different. You accept that it happened. You stop wishing for a better past.
I release the demand. That is powerful language. It's not, I'm okay with it. It's, I'm no longer demanding payback or a different history.
Precisely. You're giving up the hope of a better yesterday.
Okay. Step 3, boundary.
This is where you establish safety for the future. You say, I forgive you, ND. The ND is the most important word in this step. I forgive you and I will not work with you again. I forgive you and I am not coming to Thanksgiving this year. I forgive you and I will not be discussing my personal life with you anymore.
The boundary protects the forgiveness.
Yeah.
It makes the release possible because you know you're safe now.
It does. And finally, step 4, forward motion.
What does that look like?
You have to do something physical. Your subconscious mind takes cues from your body. If you just sit on the couch and think about forgiving, very little happens. You need to take a tangible action that signals to your entire being that you have moved on.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Delete the text thread. Throw away the old photos or objects that remind you of the person. Rearrange the furniture in your house. Apply for a new job. Go to a new coffee shop. Do something, anything that says, I'm building a new chapter.
I love that. Action overrides the feeling. The action tells the feeling what to do, not the other way around.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's apply this clean model to 3 specific scenarios. We pulled these from listener emails and common themes. The first one is a work environment.
The work scenario. Let's say you have a boss who is constantly critical, or even worse, a coworker who is lazy and rides your coattails.
Oh, the lazy coworker. That is a classic. You're doing all the work, they're scrolling on their phone, and you both get the same paycheck. The resentment there burns slow and hot.
It does. It can poison your whole career. So how do we apply the clean model? First, truth.
I am angry and resentful that they are lazy, and I am overworked. It is fundamentally unfair.
Validate that. Own it. It is unfair. Then second, release.
What does release look like here?
I stopped complaining about them to my spouse every single night.
Ooh, that is a hard one. Venting feels so good in the moment.
Venting is just rehearsal. It's just drinking the poison and getting your spouse to drink it with you. You have to stop giving them your precious mental energy after 5 p.m. You release the need for them to be different. They are lazy. That is a fact of nature, like gravity. Accept it.
Okay. I accept that they're lazy. I'm not going to change them. Step 3, boundary.
I will document my work clearly so my contributions are visible. I will not cover for them when they miss a deadline. I will politely decline to do their work for them. I will let their results speak for themselves.
That's clean. It's not aggressive. It's just factual. And step 4, forward motion.
You focus on your own excellence. We have a great insight here from Aristotle, actually. He talks about the servile nature.
What does that mean?
He basically says that if you let someone else's bad behavior dictate your emotional state, you are their servant.
Ooh. Say that again?
If the lazy coworker makes you petty, angry, and distracted, they are controlling you. They are the master, and you are the servant of their behavior. To be free is to maintain your standard of excellence regardless of what the clown in the next cubicle is doing.
That is a total reframe. You're not being a doormat by not engaging. You're refusing to be a slave to their dysfunction.
Exactly. You reclaim your freedom.
Okay, scenario 2. Relationships. This is the heavy one. Betrayal. Infidelity. Deep disrespect.
This is where the pain is deepest and the work is hardest. Let's say someone cheated, or broke your trust in a profound way.
Truth.
I am devastated. My trust is broken. I feel betrayed and foolish. You have to sit with that pain.
Release. This one seems impossible.
The release here is not about the other person. It's about you. It might be, I will not stalk their social media to see if they are happy.
Oh, that's a big one. Pain shopping.
Pain shopping. We go looking for evidence that they're doing better than us, which just twists the knife. You have to release that. You have to stop watching their movie. It's over.
Okay. Boundary.
This is where it gets very real. It could be, I cannot be in a relationship with you anymore, or if you're trying to repair it, we need to go to therapy, and you need to sleep in the guest room until I feel safe and trust is rebuilt. The boundary must be firm and clear.
And forward motion.
Shinn tells a story about a woman who cast the burden of resentment toward another woman. She just released it internally. And shortly after, the dynamic completely changed. Shinn's point is when you stop tugging on the rope, the tug of war ends.
What does that mean in practice?
Sometimes that means the other person feeling the release of pressure changes and becomes kind. Sometimes it means they just drift out of your life because the energetic tie is cut.
But either way, you're free of the struggle.
Either way, you get your energy back, you start investing in your own life again, you pick up a new hobby, you reconnect with friends, you move on.
Okay. Scenario 3. And I think this might be the hardest one for a lot of us. Habits. Specifically, forgiving yourself.
Self-forgiveness. This is the sticky one. We are often our own harshest judges.
Let's say you broke your diet, or you relapsed on a bad habit, or you procrastinated on a huge project and now you're in a panic. The shame spiral kicks in.
The shame spiral. I am an idiot. I always do this. I am broken. I have no willpower.
So how do we use the clean model on ourselves?
Truth. I messed up. I ate the cake. I didn't do the work today. Face it without excuses. Just the facts. I am not a failure. I made a mistake. This is the crucial difference between shame and guilt. Shame says, I am bad. Guilt says, I did something bad. You release the shame. You release the identity of being a failure.
Boundary. How do you set a boundary with yourself?
The boundary is with your future self. It's what psychologists call an implementation intention. From now on, I will not keep cookies in the house. Tomorrow, I will put my phone in the other room for the first hour of work. You set up a guardrail to make it easier to succeed next time.
And forward motion.
Do the next right thing immediately. Do not wait for Monday. Go for a walk right now. Write the first sentence of the project. Do one push-up. The action signals to your subconscious that the mistake is over and you are back on track.
We have a framework in the notes called the 4 R's of self-forgiveness. Can you go through that?
Yes. It's a great little model. Responsibility, remorse, restoration, and renewal.
I did it. I own it.
I feel bad about it. I regret the choice.
I will fix it if I can. I'll apologize or clean up the mess.
I am moving on. I'm starting fresh now.
Most people get stuck at remorse. They just wallow in it.
They wallow. They think if they beat themselves up enough, that counts as penance, as fixing it.
But it doesn't.
It just drains the energy you need to actually do better next time. It's self-indulgent. Renewal is the goal.
Okay, we have the theory. We have the examples. This is incredibly helpful. Now, I want to do something practical. I want to do a real-time exercise for everyone listening.
A forgiveness reset.
Yes. So for everyone listening, if you are driving, please keep your eyes on the road, but you can do this mentally. If you are in a place where it's safe to do so, maybe close your eyes for a moment. We're going to walk through this together.
Let's do it.
Step 1. Name the person or situation you keep rehearsing. The thing that keeps you up at night. The thing that makes your stomach tight when you think about it. Just bring it to mind. Got it.
Identify it clearly. Don't be vague.
Step 2. Identify what you want from it. Be really honest. Do you want an apology? Do you want justice? Do you want them to hurt like you hurt? Do you just want safety or closure?
Usually what we really want is the past to be different. And we can't have that.
Step 3. Release the inner courtroom. Visualize that judge inside your head. See the gavel. Now, say this phrase either out loud or just in your mind. I release my demand to relive this.
I release my demand to relive this. Feel the weight of that.
Step 4. Speak one clean statement of release that does not deny the truth. Try this one. They were wrong, but I am flow.
They were wrong, but I am free. Both things can be true.
Step 5. Choose one boundary you will keep going forward. Just one. Make it simple and actionable.
I will no longer discuss this person with my friends. I will unfriend them. I will not lend them money again.
Step 6. Take one small action that signals forward motion. Visualize it now. What is one thing you can do when this is over?
Delete a text thread. Send a kind email to someone else. Clean your desk, just one small physical act.
And step 7, this is a big one from Shinn, remove one contradiction.
Yes, you cannot work for forgiveness and then talk about the injury. If you are gossiping about the person, you are rebuilding the courtroom you just dismantled.
So what's the action?
You have to stop the behaviors that feed the resentment. Stop the revenge planning. Stop the storytelling. Stop looking for allies in your anger.
It's about alignment. You cannot move north if you keep looking south.
Exactly.
I feel lighter just walking through that. But I know even with these tools, we stumble. So let's quickly troubleshoot. What are the common mistakes people make when they try to do this work?
The biggest one, mistake number 1, is waiting to feel like forgiving.
I just don't feel ready yet.
You will never feel ready. Your ego loves the grievance. It gives it an identity. Forgiveness is a decision, not a feeling. You make the decision first.
And the feeling follows.
The feeling comes later, sometimes weeks or months later. It's a lagging indicator. You have to lead with your will, not your emotions.
Make it till you make it.
Act as if you have forgiven, and eventually the feelings catch up to the action.
Mistake number 2.
Confusing forgiveness with trust. We talked about this, but it bears repeating. You can forgive someone instantly. Trust must be earned back over a long period of time. You forgive the sinner. You do not trust the liar until they have a long, proven track record of telling the truth.
Mistake number 3.
Thinking it is a one-and-done event. I forgave them yesterday. Why am I so angry about it today? Because the neural groove in your brain is deep. You might have to forgive the same person 50 times a day at first.
Really?
Yes. Every time the thought comes up, you have to gently say, case dismissed, and hit the release button again. It is a practice, like meditation, not a single event.
Mistake number 4.
Trying to forgive to change the other person. I'll be the bigger person and forgive him, and then he'll see how nice I am and he'll finally apologize.
That's manipulative. It's not real forgiveness.
It's not, and it just sets you up for more disappointment. You forgive to change yourself. That's the only goal. If they change, that's a bonus, a side effect, but it's not the goal.
And mistake number 5.
Spiritual bypassing. Skipping the anger. You cannot skip the truth step of the clean model. If you don't process the real emotion, it will just rot inside you and turn into depression or anxiety. You have to feel it to heal it.
Feel it, then heal it. I like that. So let's bring this all home. We have covered a lot of ground today. Let's recap the main points for everyone.
Okay, let's boil it all down. First, unforgiveness is a tether. It ties you to the past and keeps you in a karmic loop of repeating patterns. Second, forgiveness is not approval. It is the release of the inner courtroom so you can regain your energy and your freedom. Third, resentment is mental rehearsal. It damages your health, your cells, and your vibration. It is literally drinking poison and hoping someone else gets sick. Fourth, you can forgive without reconciling. Forgiveness is a solo act. Reconciliation is a team sport that requires safety and trust. Fifth, the clean model is your guide. Truth, release, boundary, and forward motion. Sixth, action is required. You must stop the behaviors, like gossiping or stalking, that feed the old story and contradict your decision to be free.
And finally.
Seventh, the law of grace supersedes the law of karma. When you choose to release the debt, you have the power to stop the boomerang.
You have the power to stop the boomerang. That is the headline for me. Shinn says, man can only change his conditions by changing his words.
And his thoughts. The inner world creates the outer.
So we've cleared the slate. We have hopefully used this spiritual eraser on the past. But what happens when Monday morning rolls around and a whole new pile of stress gets dumped on our desk? What about the anxiety of the future?
That is exactly where we are going next. We've dealt with the past, now we have to deal with the future.
We're going to dive into episode 7 of Shinn's work, Casting the Burden.
And this one is all about anxiety. It's about how to hand over that heavy backpack of worry to what she calls the superconscious mind so you can travel light.
It sounds like moving from managing everything to trusting the process.
It's a game changer for anyone who struggles with control, with overthinking, with trying to plan for every possible negative outcome.
I think we all need that one.
I know I do.
I can't wait. But for today, I want to leave you with one final thought. We talked a lot about forgiving other people, but I want you to look in the mirror. Is there something you are holding against yourself? A mistake from 5 years ago? A missed opportunity? An embarrassing moment? What would happen if you applied the law of grace to yourself today?
That is the ultimate question. Because when you forgive yourself, you change your own vibration. And when you change your vibration, you change the whole game.
Thanks for being here. If you want the full series, check the playlist, and please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.